You think you know how to grow carrots. You've followed all the rules. You tilled the soil, planted those impossibly tiny seeds, watered them faithfully, and watched those gorgeous feathery green tops shoot for the sky. You feel that rush of victory as you grab the foliage and give it a good pull. Up comes a bright orange root. It looks perfect. But then you take a bite and it tastes like, well, nothing. A little earthy, a little starchy, and completely underwhelming. It's got the color and the shape of a carrot, but it's missing the one thing you were actually hoping for, that delicious candy-like sweetness. It's one of the most common frustrations in the garden, and it makes so many people throw in the trowel and go back to the bland baby carrots from a grocery store bag. But what if I told you that disappointment isn't your fault? What if the secret to unbelievably sweet carrots has nothing to do with a special fertilizer or some ancient gardening secret whispered on the wind? What if it all comes down to one simple factor you might be getting completely backward? I'm about to show you why your carrots are bland and reveal the single biggest key to transforming those forgettable roots into sweet treats right in your own garden. It's a simple trick, and it has everything to do with timing. You're probably making one very common mistake, but by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to grow the sweetest carrots you've ever tasted. All right, let's cut to the chase. The grand secret, the simple trick that will change your carrot growing life forever, is this. You have to time your planting so your carrots mature and are harvested in cool weather. That's it. That is the entire trick. The single biggest mistake gardeners make is planting carrots in early spring to be harvested in the heat of midsummer. We all get excited when the weather warms up, and we want to plant everything at once. But for carrots, pulling them out of the ground when the days are long and hot is a recipe for starchy, flavorless roots. Carrots that mature in warm soil simply won't be sweet. The magic happens when your carrots are sizing up as the temperatures are dropping. Think crisp autumn days and chilly nights. This isn't about a specific seed brand or a miracle nutrient. It's about working with the carrot's natural survival instincts. The plant holds the key, and all we have to do is give it the right signal at the right time. So the rule is simple. For sweet carrots, plant for a cool weather harvest. It's a neat trade-off. The colder it gets outside, the sweeter your carrots will become. So why on earth does this work? Understanding the why is what separates the good gardeners from the great ones. And honestly, it's a brilliant survival strategy built right into the carrot's DNA. Throughout its life, a carrot plant is basically doing two things: growing bigger and storing energy in its root for later. This energy is stored as both complex starches and simple sugars. When the weather is warm, the plant's metabolism is high. It's focused on rapid growth, pushing up those leafy green tops to soak in the sun. During this phase, it mostly creates and stores starch, which is a great, stable energy source. But starch, as you know from eating a raw potato, doesn't taste sweet. Everything changes when the weather turns cold. Cool temperatures, especially chilly nights and the threat of a frost, send a powerful signal to the carrot plant. That signal says, winter is coming. Protect yourself from freezing. In response, the plant kicks on a remarkable defense mechanism. It starts converting its stored starches into simple sugars. Why? Because sugar acts as a natural antifreeze. By flooding its cells with sugar, the carrot lowers the freezing point of the water inside. This prevents sharp ice crystals from forming, which would shred its cell walls and kill the root. So, the very same process that protects the carrot from winter is what makes it incredibly delicious for us. A carrot maturing with daytime temperatures in the 50s and 60s Fahrenheit and nights dipping into the 30s and 40s is actively turning itself into a sweet treat. Each chilly night is like a switch telling the plant, get sweeter. Some gardeners even call carrots harvested after a frost candy carrots for this exact reason. Knowing the secret is one thing, but actually putting it into practice is what really counts. So, let's walk through the exact steps to make this happen. First and most importantly, we have to do a little garden math. Don't worry, it's super easy. This is the calculation that makes sure your carrots mature at the perfect time. Grab your seed packet and look for the days to maturity. This is basically how many days it takes for that variety to go from seed to harvest. It might be 60 days, 75 days, or even longer. Next, you need to know your average first frost date. If you don't know it off the top of your head, just do a quick online search for average first frost date plus your town or zip code. This is the date when you can typically expect the first light frost of the fall. Now, for the magic formula, your first frost date minus days to maturity equals your ideal planting date. For example, if my first frost is around October 20th and my packet of Scarlet Nantes carrots says 70 days to maturity, I just count back 70 days. That puts my perfect planting date around August 11th. By planting in mid-August, my carrots will do their main growing in the last warm days of summer and start to mature right as September and October bring the cool nights that trigger that amazing sugar conversion. Once your timing is right, the next step is giving them a good home. Carrots want to grow straight down. Any obstacle, rocks, clay clumps, will make them fork, twist, and do weird things. The ideal soil is loose and sandy or loamy. If you're stuck with heavy clay, your best bet is to use a raised bed at least 10 to 12 inches deep and fill it with a mix of quality compost and topsoil. This gives the roots a clear path to grow long and straight. When planting, make a shallow trench about 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep. Carrot seeds are tiny and honestly, they're a pain to space out. A great tip is to mix the seeds with some sand and then sprinkle that mixture down the row. This really helps distribute them more evenly. Cover them lightly with soil. If you bury them too deep, they might not have the energy to sprout. Finally, 2 last crucial steps: watering and thinning. For watering, consistency is key. Aim for about 1 inch of water per week and try to never let the soil dry out completely. Going from bone dry to soaking wet is what causes those ugly cracks and splits in the roots. A layer of mulch, like straw or shredded leaves, really helps hold in moisture. And last, you have to thin your carrots. I know it feels wrong to pull out perfectly good seedlings, but this is non-negotiable. If they're too crowded, they'll just fight for space and you'll end up with a tangled mess of tiny, sad roots. Once your seedlings are a couple of inches tall, thin them so the remaining carrots are about 2 to 3 inches apart. Here's a tip. Instead of pulling, snip the tops of the ones you're removing with small scissors right at the soil line. This avoids messing with the delicate roots of the neighbors you want to keep. If you follow the timing and the tutorial, you're already 90% of the way to the best carrots of your life. But if you want to enter the top tier of carrot connoisseurs, here are a few pro tips. Pro tip number 1, choose your variety wisely. Just like with apples, some carrot varieties are naturally bred to be sweeter than others. Our cool weather trick works on any carrot, but starting with a sweet variety gives you a huge head start. Look for names like Scarlet Nantes, Carota, Tendersweet, or Little Finger. Descriptions with words like sweet, juicy, fine-grained, or coreless are all great signs. Pro tip number 2, go easy on the nitrogen. In the world of fertilizer, nitrogen, the N in NPK, is what gives you tons of leafy green growth. If you give your carrots too much nitrogen, the plant will pour all its energy into creating a beautiful jungle of ferny tops while totally neglecting the root. This often leaves you with bland, sometimes hairy little carrots. Stick to good compost at planting time, or if you do fertilize, use a balanced formula that isn't super high in nitrogen. And pro tip number 3, the ultimate secret weapon. Embrace the frost. Don't panic when you hear the first frost is coming. For your carrots, this is the final trigger for peak sweetness. That cold shock sends the sugar-making process into overdrive. Harvesting your carrots after they've been through 1 or 2 light frosts will often give you the absolute sweetest, most flavorful results. Just be sure to get them out of the ground before it freezes solid. So there you have it. The secret isn't some complicated, expensive product. It's just a simple shift in your calendar and your thinking. It's about understanding that carrots harvested in the heat are starchy, but carrots that mature in the cold become candy. Let the cool weather do the hard work for you. By timing your planting for a fall harvest, you're using the carrot's own natural intelligence to create the sweetest, most satisfying carrot you've ever pulled from the earth. You can absolutely do this. All it takes is a quick look at the calendar and a little patience. Gone are the days of bland, disappointing roots. You now have the single most important piece of knowledge for a truly sweet harvest. If this video helped you solve your carrot frustrations, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel reach more gardeners just like you. And be sure to subscribe to the channel for more simple, effective garden tricks that actually work. Now get out there and plan your fall carrot patch. I'd love to hear in the comments which sweet variety you're planning to grow this year.